What's up everybody, Gary Simon here. So today I'm going to show you how to create a sidebar sort of navigation with accompanying icons. And we're going to do it with Figma and show you exactly how to set up the prototyping and then also realize it with HTML and CSS. All right, so just to show you what it looks like real quickly, I'm going to zoom up here for you all. And this is what it's going to look like here. And then also in the browser, it's going to look like this over here, just like that. Let me zoom up. You can see I did reuse some icons because I don't want to sit here wasting too much of your time, but this is exactly how it will function. All right, as always, make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and let's get started. Now, chances are if you're watching this video, you probably want to be a better designer. And if that's the case, how much do you really want it? Because at DesignCourse.com, I've created a UI UX course that will help you go from designing layouts that I might rate a 4 or 5 up to 8 and beyond. But more important than that, as a better designer, this means that you can land higher paying clients and jobs. This course includes over 16 hours of video, 40 interactive UI design tests, and even mentorship where I personally take a look at your work that you submit, I review it, and many times I also revise it, providing you with great feedback to help you become a better designer. Now, for this video, I want you to use the coupon code UI2022, and that will give you 22% off at checkout. All right, so we're here in Figma. I'm going to create a new frame. It's just going to be an iPhone 13 Pro Max. The size really doesn't matter. We're not designing an actual layout, just kind of like a sidebar sort of navigation with icons. So the first thing I'll do is, I guess we'll just get some type here. So I guess we'll have the first one just be called dashboard. We're going to use a font called Nunito, N-U-N-I-T-O, and we're going to boost this sucker up to, I'd say 22 or so. All right, and then the initial state will be bold, like an active state, like if they're currently actively on the dashboard page. All right, so also if you go to like the community section and you search for Basil, B-A-S-I-L, you'll be able to replicate, create a copy of Basil icons, all right? So this is what it looks like. Just solid icons I've used in the past, and they also have fill states for each icon. So the first one that we'll use, and honestly, it doesn't matter which one we use. They're all, by the way, a tip about icons. If you're going to use an icon or an icon set, you want to make sure that they're all the same size. These are all obviously the same exact size. There's padding around them. They're not right up against the edges. They're all designed in a similar aesthetic, which is exactly what you want. So there was one that I was searching for that I cannot find right off the top of my head. Dang it, dang it, dang it. All right, well, no big deal. I think we'll just use for a dashboard. Oh, there it is. Yeah, we're gonna use this little, what would you call that? A jewel. And we're gonna also grab, by holding shift left clicking, the filled state. So we're gonna copy both of those and we'll paste them in. All right. So now obviously both of them are outside of the frame. We have to go grab this one and drag that in as well. All right. And the size of our type in relation to the size of the actual icon is solid. I knew 22 was going to work based on the size of these icons. And so what we want to do is we want to overlap both of these in the exact same position. And then once we do that, we can go ahead and create a component, and then we can create a component variant. Now off the side here, I'm going to hit F for a frame, and we're just going to put these over here. And for our initial state, we don't want the filled version to be shown. So if we come over here, let's see, let's hide this one. There we go. And then over here, we're going to hide that one. There we go. So for variant 2, we'll just call this filled for the property value right there. And there we go. There's our very first icon. We'll just call this dashboard. And then what we want to do is we want to take the prototype. We want to double click here, drag this here, and we'll say while hovering. All right, so now if we come over here to our relatively new little resources, our assets bar. We just drag this over here. We'll put that guy right there. And then we'll go click play. And if we hover over just the icon itself, it will show up. Now let me zoom up here. You can see it's working, but not if we go over there. So that's why we need, one of the reasons why we're going to make this a component as well. So in order to make this a component, we'll just take both of those, go back to the design tab, auto layout. We're going to make sure we click that. All right. And then we want to keep it right there. Oops. We want to zoom up here. We want to keep it right here on this side. That way, if we scale it out or whatever, it's going to stay over there, but also centered vertically. Okay, now once we do that, we can go ahead and click Create Component, create a component variant. Alrighty, so now we'll drag this over here. And then we'll have this right here be a regular font weight. And so we'll take this to regular. And this is the only change we're going to make. So we'll duplicate this. We'll go to prototype. We'll drag this over here. And this will be while hovering. All right, so let's get our component right here. Let's go ahead also and duplicate this. We'll also come over here and create an auto layout. There we go. And this one maybe will be named like my account. Or let's just do account. And let's get a second icon in here before we move on to the HTML, CSS to show you how we would get multiple icons. So to do that, we'll go back to Bazel. And we'll just use like a person icon. It's like this one and this one. All right, that's the filled state. So we're gonna go ahead and paste this. Put this one like right over here. Where'd the other one go? There we go. So now we'll get these right on top of each other, just like before. We're getting practice now, muscle memory. We create a component variant. Go ahead, double click over here. We'll hide that one. This one, we can hide that one. There we go. Double click, prototype, drag an interaction of while hovering. All right, and now what we could do is come out here. We're gonna take our component one. We should rename that to like dashboard or something, no big deal though. And we just drag it right here. And then additionally, we'll do the same thing, just copy and paste that and put this one there as well. So now we come back here, and for component one, we simply hide that. And we also hide it here. Let's see, right there. Yeah, we hide that. All right. So now over here and under account, we simply bring this back and hide that one. And there we go. So now we go back to our play preview area, and oops, let me use the other version. There we go. Oh, what is that? That's not working. So we need to fix that. Let me get out of here. Okay, so the reason that happened is because you can notice the component names are different. So this is component one, and because I copied and pasted, it's component two, and that's why that's not working. So we just have to make sure those are given the same name. So we'll call this account, and then this one is count as well. Now they should work. So hover over it, there we go. Now one other thing is to make this one the active state by default. We just change this, oh, we don't do that. We'll come over here and change this to variant 2, there we go. All right, and here is the final result. All right, so hover over it. And then of course, the intention would be that you would have multiple links here. So, you know, obviously changing up the name and the icons in the exact same way that we did before. And this is, you know, roughly what it would look like. Now in HTML, CSS, we will make it so that when you hover over this, it will fill this over here as well. All right, let's go ahead and switch over to our HTML and CSS. So I already have a blank folder in Visual Studio Code open called icons. We're going to create a new document called index.html. Exclamation point enter for quick boilerplate. Let's make this a little bit larger so you can see everything. Let's link up our CSS main.css file. Let's call this icons, and let's create a new folder called CSS and main.sass. I know I'm moving kind of fast, but I don't want this to be too long of a video. You're going to need the live Sass compiler extension. Just go over there and type that in and install it. And then when you have that Sass file selected, just click run as it is now, and you'll be ready to rock. All right, so now we're going to take this. We are going to right click, open with live server. You're going to need the live server extension as well. And that will open up a browser window, whatever your default browser is. Mine is Chrome. And we're just going to put this sucker right over here. That way we can see exactly what's happening. So let's start, as always, with our HTML first. And let me get my reference code up over here. Okay, so we have a nav. We're going to start off just with a simple nav element. Inside of there, we're going to have a unordered list with a list item. And then our list item is going to be a flexbox container, a parent. And then we're going to have two children in it. We're going to have the icon, and then we're going to have the text, like dashboard in my account or whatever, or account rep, whatever. I'm stuck through a loop. Okay, and so actually I'm wrong about that. We want both of them to be clickable, the icon and the actual link or the anchor text. So to do that, we're gonna wrap everything in a link element. And so this is gonna be actually, our A element is gonna be our flexbox container. And so we're gonna just use the I element, so class equals icon hyphen dashboard, and then inside of here we're going to leave that blank, and then we're going to use a span element for dashboard. All right, so now we have our two child elements that are going to be in a flexbox container. Then we could just take this whole list item, replicate that. It's going to be icon dash account. This will say account, and we are also going to give our list ID, no, not our list item, this one up here, a class of active. That way we'll be able to make this bold by default, the active state. All right, so that's all we need for our CSS. As you can see up here, just, we got work to do. It's butt ugly. So let's collapse some of this. Control B to get rid of that sidebar. All right, so our CSS. I've been using lately this font size trick here, 62.5% on the HTML element, and that just makes translating values from Figma over here to CSS easier. We're going to do body and margin of just 4 em units, just to give ourselves some space, and Nunito, sans serif. We're going to save that. Now, Nunito I already have installed, but if this was a real project, you want to go to Google Fonts and import it here in your head section. All right, and next up, let's get our links working up here. We want color black, text decoration none, and font size, because I remember the font size is 22 pixels. Because we're using this font size 62.5% hack, all we have to do is type in 2.2 rem units. So you move over that decimal point from 22 just over 1 to the left, and there you go. All right, next up we're going to have our unordered list. We don't want those ugly little circles there, so list style type none. All right, we also want to get rid of any default margin and padding, which is applied by browsers on the UL element. All right, so now we just have that 4 em unit right here. All right, so now inside of here, we're gonna use list item A. So we're targeting our actual links. And remember, we want that to be a flexbox container. So display flex, All right. And then we're going to align items center. Now, I'm gonna hold off on going further because we don't actually see anything. We only see just the link because we don't have our SVG icons in here yet. So let's focus on that. Before we get to that, we have to go back to our Figma document. I'll make this file available, by the way. And we want to double click into here. Let's see. Why is it doing that? All right, there we go. Make sure you select this one. Make sure you don't do this and then like right click and then copy the SVG, because you want to make sure you're in the portion that has the bounding box on the outside with a little bit of white space on the inside. I did by accident move this. I'm not sure if that means anything, but right click, copy as SVG. We'll go back and we'll bring back my sidebar, Control B. We'll create an assets folder. And inside of here, we're going to create a new one called icon-dashboard.svg. Paste it in, get rid of the view box and the width and height attributes from the SVG element. So just save that. And then we'll go back. Once again, we have to do this 3 more times. Right click, copy as SVG. We'll create a new SVG file, icon-dashboard-filled.svg. Again, same thing. Save it. And I'll speed this part up because you don't want to see me doing the same exact thing for the other icons. All right, there we go. So we have our 4 icons here. Here's all the names if you need to pause and make sure you have them correct. All right, so I'm going to close out each one of those right here. Control B to get rid of that. We'll go to our main SAS file. And so now let's work on the default state here. We're going to come out here and just going to say I for our icons. And we're going to say width. Now, if you go back here to our Figma document, you will see that these are 24 by 24 for the width and height. So that means 2.4 M units or rem units. So we'll just use M units. 2.4, no, let's use rem. And then we'll do height 2.4 rem as well. And then another thing that we'll want to do is background position 50%. That'll get us in the middle. So let's save that. Now you can see it kind of pushed us over, but it's blank because we haven't actually linked them up. So to link them up, we're just going to come down here and we're going to say icon-dashboard, background URL, get out of our current CSS folder into the assets folder, and we're going to choose icon-dashboard.svg, no repeat. All right, so now we could see up here, it's very ugly, it's too close, it's up a little bit high. So now let's fix that up. So in order to fix that situation, what we do is say align items center. Now it's pushed down slightly. And then we also say gap 0.7 M units. That'll push things over. And then we could also give padding of 0.4 M units on the top and bottom, 0 on the left and right. That kind of pushes the each list item away from each other. Okay, and notice I used padding instead of margin, because if you use margin, then the area outside won't be clickable. You'll have like a dead space essentially in between them. So, and I don't want that. So we're almost done. What we're going to do now is we're going to say we're going to copy this and get our account one here as well. So we change this to account, change that to account. Now we see both of them. All right. And then we're also going to make it so that the links are bold. So on hover rather. Actually, we could put this up here. So on the LIA, we can come and say and hover, and just because we're using SAS. And then we can say font weight bold. We could also come down here and say LIA active. For our active class, font weight bold. So there we go. And then finally, we need to get our filled states working. So to do that, all we have to do is say lia hover icon dashboard, and then we'll say background. And again, URL assets icon dashboard filled.svg. Now repeat. There we go. Now let's just copy this one more time. And of course, you would do this for every individual list item or link that you would have in your navigation. Obviously, you'd probably have more than two. So let's change this to account and account. Oh, that's not working. Oh, I changed the wrong word. Account-filled. There we go. Yeah, there we go. So now we go back here just to make it a tad bit more realistic. We'll copy this, and maybe we'll change this to settings. You could maybe have a cog icon or something, and contact. You'd have like a little telephone icon maybe. And there we go. Look at that. Let me zoom up here. Exactly how I would do it. Of course, there's a number of different ways to skin a cat, as demented of a saying as that is. There's many other ways that you could go about this, but I think this is a pretty solid approach. And there we go. Awesome, awesome stuff. All right, everybody, hopefully you enjoyed that. If you did, let me know in the comments below. Also, leave a like. Of course, subscribe. Check out DesignCourse.com if you want to learn UI, UX interactively today. And I'll see you all soon. Goodbye.